Mm. Yum, yum.
I just bit my lip right before we started, before we sat down to record. I did
Yeah.
that thing where it ends up just sort of tearing the skin off, peeling it back.
Oh,
It's always not great.
yeah.
Yeah. Mm.
So, how's it going?
That's a question. Oh boy. Oh, it's been a time. It's been a time since we last did the thing.
Yeah, it has.
Hang on, I'm just gonna check something. Uh,
Mm-hmm.
yeah. Yeah. Light on people this week. People hearing this. Also,
Mm-hmm.
I should probably do a sound check. I'm doing a sound check right now, so sound check.
Sound check?
Go for it.
Sound check.
Okay, I need you to talk when I'm not talking.
Okay, how about this? Am I talking correctly now? Am I
Yeah, there we
talking
go.
at the
That's
right
good.
time?
Yeah. Okay. This is very scattered, but that's how it goes sometimes. Um. Yeah. So I feel like there's a weird echo in my ears. I don't know why. It's very strange. Anyway. Um. Yeah. I may have done multiple oopses over the past week or so. It's not great.
Oh, that's
Yeah.
unfortunate.
You know.
What happened?
Uh. My constant being late to post updates has gotten to the point where I missed a deadline completely, and uh, by my own insistence, had to put my money where my mouth is because I have a policy of I have the Patreon and stuff, and um, that is supposed to have a new chapter every week for the stories that go on there. Um, and I have let that. I've talked previously about how I've let that slip quite a bit over the past, uh, let's say, while. Let's be very unnecessarily and unfairly generous and say a while. Um,
Ambiguous.
mm, uh, and my policy is if something is ever like more than a week late, then that's it. I have fucked up and have kind of, I guess you could call it breaking the contract that I have with people that are paying money to support me. Like, um, when I first started the Patreon, it was like, okay, I'm just gonna have this as like a tip jar. I'm not gonna have like content on it because then I don't have to deal with Patreon's weirdness when it comes to stuff. Um,
Yeah.
you know, I'm in that area where constantly in danger of getting shit deleted. If someone decides to look at my account wrong, um, and I was just like, yeah, I'm gonna have this as a tip jar, and it's fine. And nobody donated to it. I would occasionally get $1 from someone who felt very generous that day, giving money for basically nothing extra at all. Which, credit to those people. They gave money for nothing, technically. That is fair enough. Um, but I can't live on that. um, so I think at its height, before I started actually doing incentives, it was at $20 a month. Uh, so yeah, not ideal. So I started doing incentives, and I'm like, okay, if I'm going to do this, then it has to be a thing that I stick to because I say I'm going to do this, then I have to do this. If I'm going to be taking money for it, that's how it has to work. Otherwise, I'm just being a shit, right?
Mm.
So That's pretty much how I thought of it. Of just like, okay, if I fuck up, then I fuck up, and I don't get paid that month. I will pause payments on the Patreon, and I will just not take payments for that month because I didn't live up to my end of the bargain. So yeah, for the first time, I have failed to do that, and so had to pause it. So that it's a weird thing. Like it feels like it's one of those things where damn, I still put out the content that like it was a week late, but it was a week and 4 hours late. So it's one of those things where it's like, it's close. No, it's not. It's not close enough. Like it's already a week late. Like quibbling over 4 hours is taking the piss, right? That's not how that works. So yeah, it feels like I could have fudged it, but I don't want to because this is kind of happening. I feel because I'm just sort of letting myself fall behind. I don't know. I feel like I am entirely on the hook for this, and so I have to be the one to just accept and take it on the chin and just be like, yeah, okay, I fucked it up. So if I don't make recompense for that, then I will just keep doing it, and that's not okay. I don't want to be the kind of person that does that. So, yeah. So that was a fuck up. I will be okay. It's not like it's going to break me or anything, but monetarily, I mean, I'm fine
Yeah.
for now. But
Oh, that sucks. Good on you for sticking to your contract, though.
yeah. So that was a thing. Other fuck ups include a kerfuffle. Let's use the fun word of kerfuffle just to make it sound more fun because it's getting a new phone contract and trying to get my phone number back. Which, the horror stories you hear about like customer service.
You mean the true stories? Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, just because they're true doesn't make them not horror. Uh,
Yeah.
yeah. So I would just like to note that O2, the phone provider in the UK, their hold music is composed by Satan himself. It it is approximately by volume, volume music, 50% white noise that occasionally forms into something resembling music, and the other 50% is some EDM backwash. And the fun thing about EDM is it has this fun little musical gimmick in it a lot of the time called the drop, which is where the music will get very, very quiet for a little bit before it crashes back into like a huge crescendo of noise and sound. And yeah, this is the part where you jump up and down on the dance floor or whatever.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's not great for hold music. Because you know what happens when the music gets super quiet to the point you can't hear it? You think someone picked up the fucking phone.
I had a similar experience with of customer service hell, because I was ordering my master's graduation like robe and cap and everything,
Oh
right?
yeah.
and they're like, please hold, and then they play with like the low, like crunchy
Mm,
bit rate, um what's supposed to be calm piano music, except it gets extremely loud.
mm.
And with the crunch of the phone and the compression, it just becomes horrendous noise
Yeah,
when it gets really loud on its crescendo.
that's the weird thing about it though. It was like the half of it that was music, it was still just like music. It was loud enough. It was just music and it was fine. And then the other half was just white noise. It wasn't like it was just crackling and just uh, due to low bit rate. Like the bit rate was fine. Like it was very audible music, but it would just suddenly go to fucking ear violation.
Hmm.
Um, yeah. So that was a fun half hour of listening to that. Uh,
No, no.
Before someone picked up the phone and they're like, "Hey, yeah, what's up?" And I'm like, "Yeah, I want my old phone number back. You didn't actually set up anything to give me my old phone number back, so I need to do that, please. It's the same provider. It's all fine. It should be fine." And they're like, "Okay, give me all your details. Okay, give me all your details for your old number. Okay, cool. I'm gonna pass you off to new agent. Okay, and they're gonna be able to help you. All right, cool. Back to the whole music. 15 minutes. Hi, how can I help you? You're supposed to know that already. I okay. I want my old phone number back. It's same provider. It should be easy. They're like, okay, give me details for your new number. Give me details for your old number. Okay. Okay, I'm not sure how to do this. I'm just going to pass you over to someone else who can hopefully help you. Okay.
Oh
It just does
no,
three
you
more
got stuck
times.
in the loop.
3 more times. And I'm like, okay, this time I've got it. And for the last time, I hear a dude's voice on the end of the line. It's the first time it's someone with an English accent because that's just how call centers are now. And I get to talk to him for about 10 seconds, and then the line drops.
Mm.
So that was how I spent the first hour and 15 minutes.
Oh no. An hour and 15 minutes.
So naturally, I'm in this deep, so I call again. It's about 20 minutes of hold music. Hi, how can I help you? Can you give me details for your new number and your old number? Okay, I'm just going to pass you off to someone who can help you. Okay, cool, thanks. Do this twice more, and the line cuts out.
Oh.
I was ready to throw my phone through my front window and just say, okay, I don't have a mobile phone anymore. That's fine. That's how this ends. Uh, yeah. So
That's incredibly frustrating.
yeah, this was at the point where I went to bed because I'd been planning to sleep as soon as I was done with this very simple thing that I needed to get done. Uh, hmm. Woke up the next morning. Okay, let's try this shit again. I am admittedly a little bit shirty with the first person that I speak to on the other end of the phone. And I'm like, okay,
Hmm.
okay. I spent 2 hours on the phone about this yesterday. This is very simple. This is the simplest thing in the world. I want my old phone number back. I got a new contract with you. It's the same provider. I just need that number on this SIM card. That's all I need. It should be the easiest thing in the world. And to his credit, he is very understanding and patient. Well, he's actually just kind of flat and just, yeah, I'm in the call center, dude. I don't give a shit. But in fairness, that's fair enough. Like, that's just how you have to operate in a call center. So talk to him for about 5 minutes, getting the details. Okay, it's cool. Uh, there is an issue with how to do it, and he's like, okay, I'm just gonna work out how to do this, and I'll be back with you as soon as I can. And he's like, okay, hold music again. About 10 minutes, he comes back. Okay, I've got this. I know exactly how to do this now, so I'm just gonna do this, and we're gonna sort it out, and we're gonna give you your old phone number back. I'm like, oh my god. I spoke to 10 different people the day before who didn't have a single fucking clue how to do this. And the first guy I speak to the next day is just like, okay, I am a superstar call center rep, and I'm just gonna fucking sort this out immediately.
You rolled that natural 20, my friend.
I was, of course, effusively grateful for the help, because holy shit, this was an ordeal that did not need to be an ordeal. But yeah, that guy is fucking rock star. So props to that guy whose name I don't know. You know. So that was. So that was fuck up number 2.
Okay, we got 2 down. How many more?
Now, I posted a message in the Discord chat for the podcast recording before, at about the time this incident occurred, and it reads, "Reminder for myself, don't forget about the Red Bull when it comes to podcast time."
Yeah.
Now, if you hear that, you might think, okay, he's just getting an energy drink ready for when he's recording, so he's, bouncy and vibrant and stuff, and all that stuff that Casey never is. Why would you think that? But
well, at least not dead and dying in recording. That's what we aim for.
But no, what that refers to is the incident in my kitchen that occurred like 3 days ago. Where I sort of, okay, time for my morning / evening, like breakfast / dinner energy drink. Cool. Just gotta get the powder stuff from the cupboard. I open the cupboard and I'm like, something smells weird.
Oh no.
Is that, why this damp? And I'm like, oh, is something leaking? Oh shit, that's a problem. Okay. So I start pulling things out of the cupboard, and I find right at the back of the cupboard there are 3, I don't want to call them crates because it's like a 4-pack, but 3 4-packs of energy drinks. 2 of them are Red Bull, and 1 is a store brand, like, cheapo shit energy drink. And the cheapo shit brand has eaten through the bottom of the can. 4 cans.
How long has that been there for it to get to that point?
I want to be real with you. I didn't check the use by dates on the shit brand. I did, however, on the Red Bull cans that had also been eaten through, presumably because of the other shit brands just sort of soaking them or something. I don't know. And the use by date on the Red Bull was 2018. No.
Oh no. Oh dear.
So
That's You need to reorganize your cabinets, my dude.
well, considering everything in that cupboard was soaked with Red Bull at that point, and shit brand energy drink as well, obviously. that is no longer a problem. That cupboard was cleaned out, and I am throwing everything that was in there out, including a fresh loaf of bread, which is annoying, and some canned goods that usually you can say would be fine, but when you see corrosion on the side of the can from yeah, that kind of probably needs to go too, and yeah.
You're just not having a good time.
Yeah, it's been a week. It's been a hell of a week. Yeah. Hmm.
Is there a fourth fuck up somewhere in there?
Not that I can
Or is
think of. I mean,
okay.
it's the night is young. I guess. I mean,
Oh. Well, you're no harm to your health or well-being has happened, so take that as a blessing.
that is technically true. I mean, hmm,
You didn't drink the corrosive energy drink at the very least.
no, I didn't. I poured all of them into the sink.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So we'll call that a win.
Sure. Let's. That sounds like the most charitable win I have ever heard. That is the most participation medal ass thing I have ever heard. But okay, we'll just fucking
Avoid
roll
that.
with it.
Avoid that brand. It will melt your innards.
Yeah. I just drink powdered stuff anyway now, so I don't really have the cans. It's cheaper. Yeah. So that was all of Casey's fuck ups for the past like week or so.
Mm-hmm.
Week, maybe two. In things I have actually been doing, I've played bits and pieces of Cyberpunk 2077. Apparently, they're coming out with a new update soon, like tomorrow. So I'm just holding off until that's finished because like there's cool features in it and I want to play with them.
Okay.
Because like they've added like a full metro system to the game, like not just like the Spider-Man thing where it's like just a loading screen that has
Yeah.
funny images of him in it. No, it's like you can actually just sit down and ride the metro, and
There.
it's basically a tour of the city, and there are random events that can just sort of happen. Like,
It's good to hear they're hard at work doing an ungoodening of the game.
yeah, this is apparently the last big update that they're gonna do.
All right, I might actually go check it out then once that update's out.
So yeah, that is the thing that I've been playing and will play more when it's sorted.
Yeah.
Final Fantasy 14 still taunts me, but I'm not gonna fucking get wrapped up in playing that when I'm behind on literally everything.
Yeah, do it at your own pace.
Yeah, it's not gonna. Yeah, I'm not gonna do that. And man, H Bomber Guy sure dropped a video this
Yeah,
yesterday.
I haven't watched it yet. I have it queued up to watch later, but it's a doozy.
Oh boy. So yeah, on plagiarism. That's a fun one. Yeah. Just calling out a bunch of different people for very obvious and blatant plagiarism that they just kind of do on a regular basis. And oh man, one of the examples of that is kind of genuinely horrifying. Yeah. So, but that person seems to have completely just sort of and Alt F4 on everything that he's doing. So that's, I mean, I'm okay with that. If it just stays gone, that would be great. It's it was a very depressing video.
Yeah,
It
I
was
can imagine.
it was more depressing when I went to uh, that person's channel. They had deleted their Twitter by then, and they had closed comments on their community posts, but they had not yet done so for their videos. So their
Hmm.
most recent video was just filled with partially people just dunking on him coming from H1McGuy's video,
Hmm.
partially his own supporters who had just had exactly the kind of person he is revealed to them in a not particularly pleasant way. And oh man, it I made a mistake going to read those comments because it just made me really angry, and I had nothing I could do with that anger.
Yeah,
Hmm.
that's what comments do.
I can remember one of them was like it was an autistic kid, or not actually a kid, but um, you know, that thing where not mentally aging as is uh, what's the term for ordinary brains for the ordinary boring people? Um,
Uh, Neurotypical.
Neurotypical, yeah, that's it. Not mentally aging as a neurotypical person would. So still kind of mentally a child, and they acknowledge this. So that's how I know that. I'm not just guessing. And they talked about how they pledged $100 on this dude's Patreon, just in hopes of getting a video essay about a show they liked. And it's just everyone trying to ever so nicely be like, I'm so sorry, but that is just not going to happen. And if it does happen, it's going to be someone else writing it.
Hmm.
And it's just, ah, just people who really look up to someone because they have been given every reason to believe that this person is knowledgeable and uh, respectable and uh, knows what they're talking about in a way that they can convey it to other people, and they don't. They are just taking other people's words and selling them. And that, it's just sad, man.
Yeah, it is. So, and even with like, there've been a lot of stuff coming out about content creators as of lately. I've noticed.
Yeah. I mean, there
Like
always is, but yeah.
there always is, but I've noticed a bit more entering my sphere of influence than usual.
Mm,
From the diving into the whole stuff with the completionist and that charity which has not
mm,
sent any money to charities,
yeah.
you know. And I just think when it comes to people like who make content that you like, you can't hold expectations or assumptions towards them, that the worst being that they are actually a good person, because you don't know that person, you know. But we want to like the people who make the stuff that, you know, we like,
Yeah.
and we like to uh
And being the type of person that is just suspicious of everyone's motives and doubting everyone is who they say they are, that is no way to live life.
yeah.
It just isn't. Even with all of the horrible people that do this kind of shit, it's it's only going to hurt you if you start believing that everyone is a lying, cheating scumbag.
Hmm. Which is why my strategy is I'm not going to hold any expectations of them being good or bad. They just make the content. Do I like the content? If something comes out about them, it's like that's a shame, but like I'm
Yeah.
not heartbroken over it because I wasn't holding them up to a certain standard, if that makes sense.
Yeah.
because ultimately it's impossible for me to actually keep them to that standard. I'm just a stranger on the internet.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, it's a weird thing of like separating the person from the art. That's just not a thing you can really reasonably do.
But in the absence of knowing more about that person, it's kind of what you sort of have to do.
Yeah.
It's hard with like YouTube and stuff because people put their personality on display. That's what they're really selling.
Yeah. A very carefully curated version of their personality. Yes.
Exactly. Yeah. And so people uh people don't understand, what you're seeing is just one side of a person, probably exaggerated and tuned up for, an audience.
Hmm.
It's hard to be genuine on the internet. uh
We say as we record a podcast, but in fairness, we record a
exactly.
podcast that no one listens to. So that's
Yeah.
you know,
I'm not holding anything back.
if to an extent, let's say, if anyone's going to be genuine, it's the people who don't have to care about their reputation. Like, who gives a shit who we are?
Yeah.
We're literal nobodies. Like, no one is going to give a shit if, I don't know, I am a complete slob that has a floor covered in takeaway bags, which may or may not be the accurate truth, and leaves rotting cans of soda in his cupboard for 7 years. Like, like who
Yeah.
gives a shit? I'm just a fucking moron and a loser. It's fine.
Don't put yourself down like that.
I mean, dude, 7 years. I moved in to this flat 8 years ago. They have been here as long as I have.
Okay, that's fair. uh, um, by the by, sorry to switch the topic.
No, feel free.
I might,
I'm fine.
I might have to get going because I do have some company over. So I do want to cover some of the stuff that I've been doing because
Oh
it's
yeah,
been a
sure, go for
while.
it.
So, I decided I would catch up on some of the memes of the new generation.
Oh boy.
I had woken up. It was 4 a.m. I couldn't go back to sleep, and a stray thought came to my mind. What is Skibbity Toilet?
Oh boy.
And
Speaking of not wanting to know about the person creating things.
I don't know anything about the person who made Skibbity Toilet.
Fair
But what
enough.
I do know is that Skibbity Toilet is a strange artistic piece of storytelling.
Yeah.
And I mean that in that there are no spoken lines, but yet there are characters
Yep.
that you get invested in. There is drama. There's an ever escalating arms race. It is bizarre. It is a journey on which I recommend people take themselves through because it is just. I mean, it's a story of war with guys whose heads are in toilets.
Yeah. Yeah. It's a story of war, all right.
I don't know anything else about other than the content that I saw. So it is
I will spay.
okay. It is strange. On that note, speaking of strange, I also saw the Five Nights at Freddy's movie. And
Did we talk about this? I don't know if we talked about
we
this.
talked about it, but I had not seen it yet.
Oh, okay.
And people were like, "Oh, well, if you know the franchise, you get it."
Yeah.
I know the franchise. I get it. This is it's a subpar movie, I would
Mm.
say. Um, they combine elements from the various different games and everything, and that's fine and everything. But the having the main character drama um being at the forefront that they did was not great.
Yeah, it's like the entire premise of the series, to my knowledge. Like, I haven't exactly stayed up on the lore or played any of the games, but have just like seen people play some of them. It's a night security guard living in constant fear and praying for the end of his shift as murderous animatronics try and kill him.
Right. So what if instead of that, he falls asleep during each of his shifts,
Yeah, kind of missing the point a little bit, I feel
and
like.
then he has dreams with the ghost children?
Yeah, sure.
The animatronics are okay. They're horrendously underused. This is a very fanficky movie,
Hmm.
and I mean that literally. Like this could be a fanfic, and I would not bat an eye.
I mean, okay, let's be perfectly real. In the circles we do and have, you know, swam in, run in,
Yes.
yeah. Everything feels like fanfic because fanfic is a fucking massive gamut of
Yeah.
quality in terms of hey,
I
it's really good or it's really crap and it's just self inserts and Mary Sue's and go crap.
it when I say fanficky, I mean in the sense that there's an entire scene in which Mike Schmidt, our main character, has a younger sister who he cares for kind of almost like a daughter because their parents are gone or whatever.
Hmm.
And the daughter slash sister um, ends up connecting with the ghost children animatronics and making friends with them, and they make a whole like almost like a pillow fort with chairs and tables, and they're laughing and they're having fun, and I'm like, what?
Yeah, I mean, psychic children, that's kind of a thing.
But it is such a departure because Mike Schmidt is like almost never in danger from any of the animatronics, despite being the security guard. They introduced new characters just to make those ones in danger from the animatronics because they're breaking into the pizzeria,
Hmm.
and the pizzeria is not active. It's already been shut down, which, like,
Why do they need a night security guard then? Who is paying this guy?
yeah, they answer those questions, but it's like not satisfying. And like the thing is, I know the lore of the games, and because I know the lore of the games, I can see how much they missed.
Hmm.
Because I'm like, oh, that's Mike, who's thought to be actually Michael Afton, and so on and so forth, based on this, and this evidence.
Yeah, and I am given to understand there is a scene that is basically here is how the lore of Five Nights at Freddy's works. It's just full on
Yeah,
exposition dump at some point.
but like it doesn't. It's such a hodgepodge of so many different games and versions of the lore that it doesn't actually. It's not a nicely blended mix. It's just kind of a mess.
Hmm.
So yeah, I'm not. Uh, I'm not really keen on the movie.
Yeah.
It's kind of disappointing. And they drag in freaking Vanessa from the newest game in there as a character
Hmm.
who by all rights should not be there. And the way they use her is strange. It's just
Hmm.
um
I will say the good thing about the fact that this movie exists is just encouraging me to search out that Markiplier clip of was that the bite of 87? Like
Was
I
that
didn't
the
know what the fuck that was when I've heard it far too many times for me to like just have never looked into what that is. And
hmm
yeah, okay. I get it. That was weird. All right. I know the context now. I'm I'm up on the memes. It's cool.
Yeah. Um, Aside from that, I watched a few other things. I watched Invincible season 2 has basically its part 1 out.
Mm. I have not
It's
watched
gonna
it.
be
I'm gonna wait until the full season's out.
okay. Uh, it's good. I like it a lot better than season 1 in some regards. The characters are just handled better. It feels for the most part,
Mm.
and I like that. I won't say any more on that because you're waiting on watching that. I saw the first episode of the One Piece Netflix series, and
Yeah.
it carries with it like a very loving amount of cheese,
Mm.
you know. I actually really like it.
It is unashamed of where it comes from. Garp will
Yeah,
wear that dog hat and no one will say a goddamn word.
and I really like that. Like it has charm to it. It's not a one for one adaptation of everything, but it doesn't need to be. I quite enjoy the direction that they took it, and I want to watch more of it.
Mm.
And I also saw the first episode of Monarch: Legacy of Monsters, which is like a in the Godzilla monsterverse. This focuses on humans and the secret organization that monitors monsters and everything.
Mm.
And I saw the first episode, and there's some interesting character drama that they have going on. But to see more of it, I have to pay $10 a month. So, maybe not. And I also, did I talk about the end of Loki? I think I did.
I believe so. Yeah.
Okay.
That is it is very definitively an end of the Loki series.
hmm It's very good. Uh, I beat Armored Core 6. I bought and beat Armored Core 6, Fires of Rubicon,
Hmm.
3 times
I hear
because
you
you can
have to
only
do that. Yeah.
in order to get the true ending, you have to go at New Game Plus Plus, which is good because that means you get the first 2 endings. And what I've noticed is after I beat the game the first time, I became really, really good at beating the game quickly the second time. And part of that was because I had a realization that made the game far easier for me.
Hmm.
And that is that if you move the right camera, the right stick at all after you've locked on to an enemy with a hard lock on, you break that lock on. So you have to, once you lock on with that right stick, you do not move the camera at all. I didn't know that.
Hmm.
So I went through most of my first playthrough, essentially keep continuously breaking my hard lock on and having to just aim the camera myself until I got to a boss that was so quick and agile and so fast, like 80% the way through my first playthrough. That I was like, okay. And I discovered that, and all of a sudden the game became much, much easier. And I started to really fly through everything. My main build I used dual laser pistols and plasma missiles. Was just like a hyper speed shooty shooty bang bang
Hmm.
essentially. But I also had a second build, which was just the tank with like the heaviest weapons, dual Gatling guns, Songbird double missile launcher, the rail gun on the other shoulder, and whenever I reached a problem with it, my little fast, super fun to pilot mech didn't do anything. I just bring the tank, and the tank would just demolish everything. It can't dodge very well, but it can kill everything really hard, and I loved that.
Fair enough.
It's also interesting how they can really make you care about a lot of these characters despite there being no human faces at all in the game. It's all just voice acting.
Yeah.
And the voice acting is really good.
I mean, it better be at this point.
Yeah. There's no restrictions, so the voice acting is fantastic. The combat's very fun. That is a fantastic game. It's also very Dark Souls, as to be expected.
Yeah. I mean, there was no way for that influence not to slip into the Armored Core series after like what a more than a decade of making that style of game. It rubs off.
It should be noted that like the terms, reignite the flames or ignite the fire comes up a bit
Hmm.
and is tied to the ending. So
Yeah.
but the context here and the morality of which ending you choose is much more nuanced, I feel.
Hmm.
And I quite like that.
Hmm.
Um,
Also, Patches is originally from Armored Core as well.
yeah.
Yeah.
So I would highly recommend Armored Core 6 to basically anyone if you like big robot.
Hmm.
But more than that, the combat's just really fun. The story's good, and the missions have a variety of different objectives and things that you can do.
Hmm.
So
I am
yeah.
weirdly ambivalent about Big Robot, and I pretty much blame Evangelion for that.
Mm.
Like, Evangelion was the first anime I watched, aside from the ones I watched as a kid that weren't touted as anime. Uh, and yeah, complete deconstruction of the entire genre kind of ruins the entire genre a little bit.
I mean, it's different here though because you're not some random kid that got into a mech.
Yeah.
You're an independent mercenary entering into a world that's where people are battling over a valuable resource. You have two corporations battling over a resource. You have the Liberation Front trying to get the corporations off their planet. And then you have the Planetary Closure Administration trying to get everybody off the planet.
Yeah. It's just like it deconstructed like 80% of giant robot shows. Like we've seen so many that do exactly the same fucking thing. Um so it's like, "Oh, I hate 80% of giant robot shows. I guess I don't like giant robots." It's just a natural pattern recognition conclusion. It's like hard to shake that, I guess.
Mm. I would say though, like, still give it a try because it is fun to create your own mech. You get to paint it how you want. You get to put decals on it, make custom decals, download decals from the internet, and um, try out a variety of different builds. They have tank builds. They have tetrapod builds where you have four legs instead of two. And that you can use that to hover in the air. You have like reverse jointed legs, which allow you to jump really high, and even like all the variety of different weapons and such. Like it's just fun.
I look forward to playing it after I finish Elden Ring and Cyberpunk and.
Understandable. Um, and aside from all of that, I mean, Thanksgiving happened,
Mm.
and that was a fantastic time with the whole family.
Yeah.
Uh, we
And
have the
the baby,
yeah
was it niece?
nephew.
Nephew, sorry.
Yeah, with my nephew and my sister and her boyfriend, and like, we had my grandma over, and we had just a huge old family get together. It was really nice.
Yeah.
Uh, and I've also gone and I've been doing a lot of reading
Mm.
specifically. And this the one I was reading recently is a completed story. It's by Genesis trans. I don't know the author's name exactly, but Genesis Translations are the ones who translate it. It's on their website, and it's called Kidnapped Dragons. It's about 400 chapters long, and is it's essentially a slice of life story, but with a lot of just there's a lot of really good character drama where basically the main character is I say main character, but slice of life everybody has a huge role. But the main character is a regressor who has regressed many times, trying to save the world because there are these essentially dragon hatchlings that are on our world, and anytime one of them dies, dragons from the other dimension, the home dimension they're from, break through to our world and then wipe out humanity. So, after trying multiple attempts to prevent this from happening, he gets the idea to gather them all together and just try to create an ordinary daily life with these dragon girls, basically. And it's a family story ultimately. Very much a very strange found family, but a family story.
Okay.
And it goes really dark in some places, but it is a fantastically told story. Each of the characters I care about so much by the end of it. I sobbed reading this story at points.
Mm.
Like it got me really like emotionally to really care about each of these characters, even the ones that initially like put me off. The more I got to see of that character, the more I got to like dig deeper into that character, the more I understood why this character is like this and just how massively it was written. Um, so there's a certain amount of perseverance that's needed with it because by the end of it you'll really love it, but there are points of frustration along the way,
Mm.
and I highly recommend that to anybody who wants a good story to read. It is slice of life. There is action in it, but to be honest, I care less about the action than more about the characters because the characters are just so well done. Um, and I'll drop a link to it. Um, I only discovered it recently, but it was well, 434 chapters. Um, Big read, but super worth it. Um, and I've also been reading the ReZero web novel translations because I can't wait any longer. The
Okay.
anime is coming out next year,
Hmm.
and my curiosity was killing me. And yeah, no, the character development is real. There's some it goes some nuts places. So I'm really excited for the anime next year. Um, Genuinely, very excited for that. It's a lot of the web novel's been translated, and the light novel obviously is going to change things, which isn't being changed into the anime. So
Hmm.
even more things will be changed. But
Lots of adaptational decay going on there. Multiple
yeah,
layers.
the light novel was considered to be the concrete form, but the light novel is being slowly officially translated.
Hmm.
As in, it's only going to be this month that they finish up where the anime left off in terms of the novel, and the anime like left off here like a year or two ago.
Hmm.
So the web novel, meanwhile, is being fan translated, so it's not licensed, so they can just do whatever they want. So I've been enjoying reading that.
Yeah.
The story is maintaining its quality.
I am happy
Honestly,
for you.
thank you. Honestly, if I ever did return to writing fan fiction, I might want to do a ReZero thing.
Mm.
It's right up my alleyway in terms of what I like to write. And I finished a huge arc in my D&D campaign just yesterday. An arc that's been going on for like several months, and now I have a crap ton of prep ahead of me for that game. Thankfully, the holiday seasons are coming up, so I can just put some of that off. So, Yeah, lots of lots of stuff.
Yeah. We are the time of year where everything is hard to arrange, unfortunately. So
Yeah, it's tis the season, you know.
also
Mariah
fun
Carey
fact,
has
I'm
thawed.
pretty sure Christmas Eve and New Year's Eve are both on a Sunday this year.
Yeah, yeah, no, actually, yeah, you're right.
Yep.
Oh boy.
Yep. That's not happening for those 2 weeks. I mean,
I mean, New Year's Eve might be fine
might be.
because it's only like later into the day that things get like really busy.
Yeah, it'd be like 4 for patient and 2 for you. So yeah, maybe.
Yeah. So should be okay-ish. Did you see the new one of the new characters they added in FGO?
No.
There was this white-haired girl who's like the welfare for the new Guda Guda, who uses like a bajillion assault rifles. And I'm
Okay.
like, I like that. Thank you.
Mm. I mean, it's never gonna beat fucking the 3-line formation. It's just not to me.
I just like it when like fake character, historical character breaks out the big machine gun.
Mm.
Thanks, Berserker Lancelot. Uh, yeah, but whew. We were talking about concrete, the content creators earlier. Did you see the Boogie documentary?
As the boogie is in. Oh, fuck. It's a number after his name.
Yeah,
I
that
have
guy.
not. No, I didn't know there was one.
There was one, and if you want to be depressed, whoo, 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 that documentary's depressing. Because Boogie
Yeah,
is a
the
depressing
last
person.
thing I remember even hearing about Boogie was when he was basically harassed into an anxiety attack by Anita Sarkeesian. That's the last thing I remember hearing about him.
Here, I'm gonna post it in the chat, but here there's a documentary about this guy and hit the internet like a while ago, and I don't think we got a chance to talk about it, but um, this is just the visage of somebody who really, really wants to appear pitiful, and oh my gosh, I I don't know Boogie personally, but I've known people like this type of person, and I'm just oh, I don't want to ever know those types of people again. Just the most like depressing person you ever have been, who just finds excuses to make people pity them, you know?
Okay, I mean,
Yeah.
I have not seen it, but you know,
It's a really well done documentary. So uh I recommended it if only for the quality of the production of sorts, and for kind of getting an idea as to what the heck this guy's deal is. But yeah, I've been yammering on for a while, but I think that's about everything.
at least it's not hold music.
At least it's not the
That is the
freaking
meanest comparison I could have ever made to someone talking.
yeah.
That is the most backhanded bullshit I could have possibly said. I apologize.
You're good. Oh man, the freaking just talking to that guy on the customer service if I'm trying to make this order, and I he's like, "Does this look right?" And I'm like, "Well, you got my name wrong. You got my address wrong. My name wrong in two locations actually. You got and I correct the person on everything, and then I get called a few days later. It's like, "Well, there's a problem with your order, sir." And I'm like, "What's the issue?" It's like, "Oh, we forgot to record your weight." And I'm like, "Okay." Oh, customer service over the phone, I do not like.
Mm,
Let me just submit things online.
yeah, that generally makes things easier.
Especially because you will have people who like occasionally have very thick accents and you can't understand what they're saying and they can't understand what you're saying.
Occasionally, you say.
It's very often.
Yeah. Uh, did we do Patreon for last month?
Um, no,
Did we not? Did we really not?
I don't think we did.
Was this a case of you left the episode early so we didn't have the thing ready?
This is a case that at the time I had not received the email that had confirmed that everything had gone through.
13 days ago was the upload date, so 21 days ago we should have done.
Uh, I
Yeah,
don't
that
know.
would have been like the 11th, the 12th when we recorded it.
Then I might have done it then. So I think we're good. I'm not sure. I don't remember. My memory's terrible.
We're bad at everything. We suck.
Well,
I mean, if I can check, and if we didn't do it, then we can do it twice next week.
yeah, we could. Uh, I think it's just the same people, though.
Yeah, so we just thank him twice. That's
Yeah.
that's that's how this works. Okay. Well,
Okay.
thanks. Thanks for listening. Bye. The Discord and Patreon description stuff. Yeah. Bye, everybody.
Bye.